What is going on, everybody? Let's come back here in another video, and today we are doing the first of 5 rounds of my 10th mock draft. This one's going to be with trades, so for you guys who liked it last time, you guys are going to be in for a treat because the draft order has changed a lot, so there should be some new trades, some new fun stuff, and obviously, especially at the top of the draft where everything was constant, things have changed big time. So if you guys are new, hit that like button, drop a comment down below because we have an amazing community. Best part of the job is talking with you guys, learning from you guys, and being able to just enjoy a community. That's the best part, guys. And as well as hit that sub button because we have a huge community going. We have over 1,100 subs. It's absolutely awesome. We are at literally 100 in the end of October. I love the fact that you guys want to listen to my BS all the time. So thank you guys so much for that. Now, without further ado, let's kick into the draft with the first pick. This is the one thing that hasn't changed. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is pretty much the guaranteed blue chip prospect of this draft. Trevor Lawrence is just a stud all around. He's just on another level. There's not really too many red flags about him. He stares down his read, but from my conversations with the head scout of the San Francisco 49ers, is mainly because of the fact that he knows his wide receivers have the advantage, as well as the fact that he has such good ball placement, such good ball velocity, angles, everything, to where he can fit it in. And that's perfectly fine. So as long as he understands that some of his receivers, Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark, all those boys, if he understands that they're not going to be always like perfectly open and they're going to match up against some good corners, I'm sure he can adjust. So if that's his one bad thing is that he can stare down a read because if guys are good, that's a pretty damn good. That's as good as you're gonna get because every single player is uncertain. We never know if Trevor Lawrence. Certainly, what's uncertain is the fact whether my hair is gonna be a pain in the ass this video. Like nothing for certain. Trevor Lawrence could be a bust, but he's as certain as we can get about a prospect. Now the Jets, I actually have. I mean, you guys. I'm going to be honest, I've talked to a lot of you Jets fans. You guys don't like Justin Fields, and I don't think he fits your scheme. He doesn't fit the locker room. He doesn't fit the vibe. He's not that type of guy. You know who he does fit? Carolina. Carolina's going to be moving up. This was a trade that came through my mind, and we're going to try to see if I can remember how we actually did this. So obviously we're going to be swapping first-round picks, but if I'm not mistaken, we swapped a next year third as well as a fifth this year. It might be a fourth this year. We'll play around with it just to see what actually happens here. We'll send in a second as well as maybe a third this year. So we're in that likely territory. Now we could, of course, request like a sixth back if we want to add in a fifth round as well, just to be able to get the calibrations more like into sync. We'll add in that sixth and just see if that's going to be able to get us through. Hopefully it does. Hey, let's go. Man, it was a pain in the ass last video, let me tell you. But Justin Fields, he's a guy where we've seen this year that he has some flaws. He panics, he has some issues, but man, as a raw prospect, he is on the level of Trevor Lawrence. It's not as big of a gap as you think with the talent. But up here, that's what makes a true separation, all right? Justin Fields needs some time to sit. He needs some time to think. He needs a good mentor. Teddy Bridgewater is perfect for that. You didn't get Teddy Bridgewater to be able to just lollygag around and be able to just like lead the franchise into nothing, right? He needs a purpose. He was a very solid quarterback who is a, no pun intended, bridge quarterback. This is the reason why. Justin Fields will be able to sit a year. He needs to sit. He'll be able to sit a year, relax, and be able to learn from a guy who's able to go through reads, who is very careful with the ball, and then combine those with his own abilities. I think that's going to be the maximum potential for a guy like Justin Fields. I love him that Matt Rule scheme as well. That's going to be awesome there in Carolina. I mean, you guys just got like these first two picks, this is maximizing value. Speaking of maximizing value, Penei Sewell. Obviously, there's no need to trade back at the spot. A sneaky move would be if the Jets wanted to stay here to take Penei Sewell if they don't feel confident in any other quarterback. However, the organization has already shown its tendency to want to go for a quarterback that is very good on the move, has a cannon arm, has a shit ton of raw talent, and that's a lot. That sounds a lot like a guy named Zack Wilson. And Zack Wilson, he throws the ball on the run better. He's had injuries similar to Darnold, but he's come back better. Darnold came back worse. His freshman year was amazing. Then he was a little bit tapering off after that. Zack Wilson, got his shoulder repaired, which means that, that's a red flag, hence why he's probably not the number 2 quarterback off the board. But he has all the skill in the world, and he came back, and his shoulder's looking really healthy, man. It's looking good. I like that a lot, and this is a perfect scheme fit for him. They're already building it around a guy who's a gunslinger. Zack Wilson is a perfect fit on this squad. And plus, he's going to have an expert left tackle just like he does in Brady Christensen. That's going to be a perfect fit for Zack Wilson. And I think the Jets, now you got some extra draft capital too. It's a win-win for your entire organization. You guys would have taken Zack Wilson down here anyways. I don't think Justin Fields would be your guy. Next, Falcons. I'm going to be honest, I don't think this is a spot for quarterback 4. And I don't think you guys are a spot for quarterback 4 unless you trade Matt Ryan. But you guys owe him $100 million. $100 million. That's really, really tough for me. Now, I see 2 scenarios. One, Micah Parsons could be the pass rusher that you kind of want with Vic Beasley, but I think your linebacker core is a little crowded as it is. Like, you already have Michael Walker there. You have, obviously, Deion Jones. You have some really good talent there. I know that he could work as a good guy who could blitz off the edge, but if we're going to be 100% honest, I don't feel like that's the right move. It doesn't feel right. I don't see Micah Parsons being as good as he can be on this roster, and I don't think the Falcons think that either. I think they want to be able to get back and be able to get some extra value here, and because there's a guy named Jamar Chase on the board that 2 teams want. And, I'm pretty sure that the Dolphins are going to be fine with either Micah Parsons or Jamar Chase. Hint, hint. The Eagles, Micah Parsons is a big thing, but your wide receiver core is Garbo. Like, we saw it against the Eagles. We're trading up here with the Eagles, by the way. I did this in the last draft as well. But the wide receivers couldn't get any separation against the number 32 in the defense in the league for that type of shit, right? So that's a little bit worrisome to me. So let's check out if we could possibly... So we'll move up a 3 here. Let's just check out where we can get our good value. So we might add in a 5. Let's try to sneak that in. So we're going to trade in a 3 and maybe we can get a 5. And the Falcons accepted. That's wonderful. It shows that there's some good value there. And Micah Parsons would be a solid move, honestly. Swap whatever picks here. But I'm going to be going Jamar Chase. He was better than the best rookie wide receiver we've seen in the NFL right now in Justin Jefferson. Like, that means his ceiling's sky high. And I'm sorry, guys, a little bit unprofessional. We're going to turn down the screen brightness a little bit because the computer fan's already going off, which is ridiculous. I'm sorry for you guys for having to deal with that. But this pick is an easy Micah Parsons. Adds the pass rush, adds the linebacker aspect as well. You guys need both of that with Emmanuel Ogbah being basically your only true pass rusher. And for that, I think that it would be very beneficial to be able to re-sign Ogbah, be able to keep Micah Parsons learning those pass rush moves. Man, I think that would be a really ideal situation. I love the organization as well for the Miami Dolphins. At this spot, we can look at pass rush for the Falcons, right? We could look at Kwity Paye, which is probably what we're going to do. They could use a boundary corner. That's what I've heard. I'm not 100% down for that, but that's what I've heard. Again, Falcons have been doing pretty bad in their pass defense as well. If I'm not mistaken, you guys are also losing 2 of your prime safeties. So I don't know if we want to go fully that route. I know you need some pass rush though. And if we're looking at it, technically both of these teams could get pass rush. If not the 49ers, like, all these teams could get pass rush, right? The question is, does any team actually want to move up? Are the Chargers gonna really need Patrick Surtain that badly? I don't think so. I don't think they're wanting to give up draft capital. They might want to trade down, maybe not up, unless it's later on and you can get a center or something, kind of like what I did in my last draft. At this spot, I don't know if there's any takers for any of these dudes. Realistically, I can't see it. And, could we ask the 49ers to move up for Trey Lance? Maybe. I don't see it. I don't see a team having to move up here. And when there's a guy like Kwity Paye on the board who added so many pass rush moves, and again, Matt Ryan's owed a lot of money, $100 million. That is a big issue for me for trying to say that you want to be in rebuild mode. Get Kwity Paye, who has already his full set of pass rush moves, and then he's going to be able to come in and be able to do his job, and that's a great thing. He's been able to succeed when Michigan has not been able to. I used to be a Kwity Paye hater, then I started watching him and hearing all these great things about him, and man, he backs up what he talks about. Michigan sucks this year. Kwity Paye's been doing great. That means that he's not just a beneficiary of his team. I love it to death. And Cowboys fans, if you guys think this is anything But the Patrick Surtain pick, y'all would be insane. Patrick Surtain is an absolute monster, and he fits perfectly with his buddy, Trayvon Diggs. It's a match made in heaven, honestly. I'm guys have 4 cornerbacks on contract as it is. Patrick Surtain, I mean, I'm pretty sure you Cowboys fans are sick of me taking him, but I don't care where in the draft you are. If he's available, you're taking him. If it's 1 overall, you trade down and take him. Like, I'm not going to say take him at 1, but Chargers, there's a multitude of routes we can go, all right? We can go the Caleb Farley route, and if we're looking at it, these two teams could take a cornerback pretty easily. So there's no real need for us to move down. And unfortunately, if we do move down, 2 cornerbacks are taken, you're stuck with Eric Stokes. I think that's more of a need with how deep the tackle class is than anything. You guys already know I'm going Caleb Farley here. To me, he's a lot like Jason Verrett. That would be probably my comp for him, like a taller Jason Verrett, good at press corner, and injuries have been the issue, right? Injuries have been the biggest question mark, allowing a 26 passer rating. That is just on another level. It's absolutely awesome. Caleb Farley has more untapped potential than Patrick Surtain, but we're going to leave it as is. I think that's going to be just overall a very great decision for the organization to get some more youth in that corner core, as well as being able to use your great mentors in Casey Hayward and Chris Harris Jr. Wide receiver is beyond a need here. We're going to be going Devonta Smith at this spot. You guys have 5 wide receivers on contract, which is ridiculous. You're going to re-sign one of them, Kenny Golladay. I'll tell you that. If you don't, you're a freaking idiot. But Devonta Smith has proven to be an absolute stud without Jalen Waddle. Again, guys, if you guys are new, watch my post I did last night about my rankings, my positional rankings, my way too early ones. I put Devonta Smith above Jalen Waddle, basically on the fact that both of them are great. Jalen Waddle was better when they were together, but Devonta Smith has shown that he could be on his own and just stand out. Jalen Waddle hasn't been able to show out without Devonta Smith in the way that Devonta Smith has been able to. Niners, we obviously got to go corner here. He's like my number 10 player in the draft. J.C. Horn, he's probably like my 15th. But J.C. Horn is an absolute stud, son of Joe Horn. You got to get that cornerback help, man. This is turning out to be very similar to the other draft, but trust me, guys, there will be some variations down the line. At this point, like the top of the draft really changed everything, but this middle part has stayed pretty stable. Now, Broncos, we have 2 routes we can go. We can trade back, or we can go Gregory Rousseau. There's 2 options there, right? So, let's go through both of them. With Gregory Rousseau, I'm pretty sure you have Malik Reed, who has been playing pretty lights out, right? He might not command that big of a contract. I think he probably will, but you already have Bradley Chubb. Now you have Malik Reed. Now you also have Von Miller. So maybe that edge group is a little bit already saturated to the point where you don't need to go this way. Could you go a quarterback? Yes. However, this is the reason why I say not this draft. We all know John Elway loves his cannon arm. Trey Lance has a good arm. Doesn't fit the scheme. I don't think he's a John Elway type of guy. Kyle Trask doesn't have a cannon arm. Mac Jones doesn't have a cannon arm. I do not think that, like we saw Drew Lock have a cannon arm. It's not an Elway thing to do. So I think that he's going to maximize on the value of doing that with being able to trade down with a team. And I usually go the Washington football team here, which we very well might. I'm thinking about possibly the Bears moving up, but they have a lot of issues. I think Washington's poised for a championship run right now. I'm serious. Like, they're a quarterback, a weapon, and a safety away from being one of the best, if not the best roster in the NFL. We got to see if we can maybe like finagle some picks out of them. That would be a great. Okay, we weren't able to do that, but we're going to be stealing the 7th round pick from them just to be able to get some extra value, maybe be able to trade up in the later rounds as well. And then we're going to be able to select Trey Lance here. And here's why. Trey Lance is my number 6 quarterback. All right, he's number 5 or 6. I'm still debating that. This is why I take him above 2 of my dudes who I have ranked either higher or equal to him. Trey Lance has untapped potential. He's very raw. I saw him play University of Central Arkansas, and he looked garbage. Absolute trash. 7th round type stuff, right? However, I know if there's one dude in the entire league who can get a running quarterback to be able to maximize his potential, it's a man named Ron Rivera. And he's going to be able to just work so well. He was able to make Cam Newton an MVP, Super Bowl almost winning quarterback. And I think that Trey Lance is better than Cam coming out. I'm going to be honest. He doesn't have the size, but man, he has the Lamar Jackson style running ability. And I think he has a better arm than both of those guys. And I think that he's going to be a little less injury prone. Trey Lance has a sky high potential here. And I think that I'm against Trey Lance in the first, but this is the one spot where I'd be okay with it. Now, Giants, we've been going Gregory Rousseau for you guys for a while now, but I've seen the way the board falls, and I'm telling you right now, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to be the guy here. Like, there's no doubt about it. Is there any team that could use a linebacker? I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Patriots could. Let's check out the guys who are available in case we want to do a trade back, all right? So we got Jalen Waddle here. Is there any team that could probably want to trade up for Jalen Waddle? Maybe we have the Patriots trying to move up, but I don't see it over Kyle Pitts being on the board. He's my number one. He's my number 4 player in the entire class. I love Kyle Pitts. Looking at teams that could want to trade up, Jalen Waddle, but Jalen Waddle. The Dolphins could definitely want to trade up. I don't really see too much. The Raiders are probably going to want a more proven pass rusher, or else they're not going to trade up at all. So, given this pick, is there any other team that might want a quarterback? Let's just make sure I don't exit out the entire damn draft, guys. The Buccaneers. I don't see them trading up. They're probably in win now mode if we're going to be 100% fair. I don't see it. I don't see it unless the freaking Saints want to move all the way up to 13, which is ludicrous. So we're going to stick here. We're going to stay at this spot. We're going to be choosing a guy who, he's going top 10 in a lot of drafts. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I love him to death. He is very agile, good in the pass game, run game. He's all around. I think that he's much better of a coverage guy than Blake Martinez. And man, if you can learn how to play the run like Blake Martinez does, that's just a match made in heaven. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a great fit on this squad. Now, our Vikings, we've done this every single time. You guys live, breathe, and die by the run game. We're going to go Wyatt Davis here. It's a match made in heaven. You need that extra guard spot because Ezra Cleveland, as well as Wyatt Davis, as well as, of course, Garrett Bradbury, that's going to be a killer interior of the offensive line. Now you just got to fix up that tackle spot, guys. Gregory Rousseau's falling. That's okay. But, the one person who's not going to be falling anymore is my number 4 player in the draft, Kyle Pitts. You need a weapon. I don't care who the hell the quarterback is. You have a guy who can play possibly as the number 2 wide receiver in the draft, as well as the number 1 tight end. My take could be he could potentially be the best tight end in NFL history. That's how good he is. But again, you just got to see how he's used. Kyle Pitts is the best option here for the Patriots. You can't, there's nothing wrong with him whatsoever at all. He's just so stable. He's consistent. He's an absolute beast. I love him to death. Now, Bears, I understand that we should probably get you some protection, right? However, I've seen how the draft board falls, and the quarterback class is a lot more top-heavy than the rest of the tackle class. There's a lot of good dudes down there in the second round, third round. So Kyle Trask is definitely going to be the pick here. He's my number 4 quarterback in the class, right behind Zack Wilson. He has limitations on his athleticism, right? He doesn't have a cannon arm, and that's okay. You know what he does have? Ball placement. Right on the freaking money every time, man. He has a good processor. He makes some mistakes, but that's okay. That's something where you can sit and wait if you want to. I think he's NFL ready. I think he is the second most NFL ready out of any quarterback in this draft behind Trevor Lawrence because he's just a constant dude. Maybe Mac Jones could take that second spot, but these guys are just very safe, high floor, low ceiling, medium ceiling type of dudes. But Kyle Trask is perfect guy to lead a very solid team like the Bears without screwing them up. If Mitch could do it, Kyle can do better. So let's go Kyle Trask here. I think that's going to be a great option. And, Raiders. You didn't want to trade up for Gregory Rousseau, but can you pass up on him? Realistically, can you pass up on something like that? I don't think so. I think that's just too good to pass up on. I know you guys need pass rush, and I love giving you guys Joseph Asai, but Gregory Rousseau, he's just untapped potential. If you want to get some untapped potential, go to Chucky. Chucky's going to be able to do, and he's going to work his world of wonders on you, man. I think that's going to be a very, very good spot for him to go. And you guys might hate that pick because Gregory Rousseau shouldn't fall that far, but I think that he's more raw than most people would like to admit. He's definitely somebody who's all potential, not really. He has a really low floor and a very high ceiling. As pick 17, that's worth it. Ravens, I did this in the last draft, all right? I'm going to be honest with you. I did it in the last draft. I'm doing it again. There's a guy named Jalen Waddle on the board, and I'm going to be honest. Jalen Waddle doesn't fit your scheme. He's the same dude that you have. Every single time. He's the same dude. You can put him in there. He's the same type of guy as every single other one that you have. And that seems kind of freaking boring. You guys are complaining about not having enough weapons. The problem is you have all the same weapon. you have true slot guys or just some speed burners who are all small. Jalen Waddle is just going to be another one of those dudes, but he's a perfect fit for Tua. So we're going to definitely do that. That's definitely going to be the pick there. I think that's going to be the best option available. Now, Broncos, where do we want to go with you? I mean, Joseph Asai's on the table, absolutely. And we want to look down the board, right? So this is definitely going to be a wide receiver pick. They obviously know that. This is going to be a cornerback pick. So if you want to boost that cornerback youth, that's definitely something that we got to look at, all right? We could look at adding another linebacker to that group, maybe an interior defensive lineman and J2 Afele. However, I think that we got to go with the Eric Stokes pick here. We got to rock with him. I think he's going to be a great, solid pick right there. I think that he's aggressive, has instincts. I'd call him Marcus Peters. If we're going to be throwing out comps, just the instincts, the ability to return the ball for touchdowns, that's absolutely awesome. I think that screams to me some Marcus Peters right there. And Cards, you guys are kind of stuck with like having to say, oh, shoot. Like, one of you guys told me Darian Kendrick is not aggressive enough for your scheme. I'm going to respect that. You don't need Shaun Wade. But you do need some pass rush, right? I mean, why not? Joseph Asai is an absolute monster. I think he's a very good speed rusher and somebody who could actually add some very good depth to the squad. I think he's somebody who could potentially replace Hassan Reddick if you want to use him that way. If you don't want to pay Hassan Reddick, this is a perfect transition from him. And again, there's some really good corners in the later rounds that you would be able to. I know corner's your biggest need, hands down, but I mean, I don't know if I want to be reaching for Asante Samuel Jr. right now. That's something we could do. Discuss it down in the comments below. But Joseph Asai is just kind of passing up too much, and we can't let that happen. It's too good to pass up. Joseph Asai going to be able to replace Chandler Jones in that scheme. Now, Ravens, we can look at potentially taking a wide receiver here, right? But we could also look at trading down again. But then again, we do have Chris Godwin on the board, who is potentially going to be, Chris Godwin, who's in free agency, who could be commanding a guy like Rashad Bateman or Terrence Marshall Jr. This is the spot. You got your picks. It's perfectly fine. Let's rock with Terrence Marshall Jr. here to be able to add some 6'3" height that Miles Boykin hasn't been able to really add to that squad in the right way. Terrence Marshall has proven that he could be a number one wide receiver in the NFL before he opted out. That's going to be a perfect fit. I like it a lot. Now, Bucks. I've been doing this for a little while, but we might be trading back here. Let's look, because is there anybody who needs an interior defensive lineman? Maybe. I don't think they're going to be doing that in the first, though. They have some bigger needs. No. Yes. So right here, let's look at this bracket right here, because they know that these guys can trade up, right? So let's see. Like, is there any team that might want somebody on the board? Yes. There's a tackle on the board in Samuel Cosme that could definitely be jumped by the Jags in order to get. I think the Colts are going to be trading up with the Buccaneers. Just a slight bit. So I'm bugging. Where are the Colts? There you go. They're going to be jumping up with the Buccaneers just to inch up a little bit to select Samuel Cosme. The perfect transition. We're going to see if a next year 7 is going to be able to do it. Perfect transition from our good old boy, Anthony Costanzo. I think his name's Anthony. But we're definitely going to move on from Costanzo that way, sending in a fifth? Yeah, I believe a fifth and a first in order to move up a couple spots to select the second best tackle in the entire class. Absolutely wonderful pick right there. I think that's going to be a match made in heaven, man. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Samuel Cosme going to be able to keep that line at the number 1 line in the country type of potential. Awesome. I love it. Browns, as the computer fan starts to go off. Oh my god, I'm so annoyed with it. Browns, you guys do need a linebacker like it's nobody's business, and I ain't afraid to take Zaven Collins here. I'm going to be honest. Like, technically, the Buccaneers could take him. To be sure, the Buccaneers could take him. The Bills could trade up to take him. I'm not going to take a chance on that. We're going to be going Zaven Collins here out of Tulsa. He is the best linebacker in college, according to PFF. According to how he played this year and how I saw him play, arguably he should be going above JOK. But Zaven Collins has been playing worse talent, so we got to hold the horses there. But on a team like the Browns, man, he's going to be an excellent addition. He has great coverage skills. I watched him all throughout that championship game against Cincinnati, and he was looking amazing. He could be the best linebacker in the class. When it's all said and done, he could be the best. I'm just going to throw that out there. If you want to, we could even flip Jeremiah Usu-Kamara. with Zaven Collins, and I'd be perfectly fine with that. Now, I think that we're not going to be doing any more trading funny business here. We're going to be going J2FLA. Definitely the best interior defensive lineman in the entire class. You can't re-sign Ndamukong Suh, and you have Vita Vea there. Don't let that go to waste. You have such a talented roster. Don't let that go to waste. Let J2FLA, who is the draft darling of Mel Kiper Jr. Oh my God. Speaking of darling, my hair is definitely not darling right now, but Mel Kiper Jr. loves this guy. TDN loves this guy. I haven't done enough research on him, and he hasn't popped off to me enough to be able to put him here. However, I'm going to say this is a realistic board. I think other teams are going to love him. Again, interior defensive lineman is something that I need to be working on as a scout myself, but we're going to be trusting the big guys here. Now, Jaguars. This is something you can't pass up. The third best tackle, arguably the second in the entire class, Christian Darsaw. He and Samuel Cosme both are posting 85-plus run and pass grades. That's awesome. Very balanced dudes for a very balanced offense. For both of these are going to be great balanced offenses. That's going to be an excellent option for both teams to be able to protect your T-Law as well as be able to help the run game for whoever the hell the quarterback/running back is going to be starting for the Colts. Now, Jets, we've been doing this for a little bit, but edge is definitely a need here. We could be reaching for a guy like Azeez Ojulari. However, I don't think that cornerback's really a great pick either. Darian Kendrick could be a solid boundary dude for you guys. But again, Rashad Bateman adds that extra weapon. I don't really see it because I know Crowder's there. Crowder's perfectly a good weapon, but he's expensive as hell. Rashad Bateman's better than Crowder. And he's going to be able to, I don't think Crowder's in the future of the team either. Rashad Bateman's going to be able to be similar to a Dax, maybe not a Dax Milne, but I think that actually Denzel Mims is more like a Dax Milne if we're going to be 100% honest. But Rashad Bateman's going to be able to be creating ground, creating separation with his footwork. Like Mims is much more of a speed dude in my opinion, but I love Mims. Mims was my number 5 guy last year. Rashad Bateman is a route running technician, definitely somebody who will be able to maybe not win with his athleticism, but somebody who has the potential to bail out his quarterback in a lot of situations, which a guy like Zack Wilson could definitely use. Now, edge is going to be the biggest issue for the Titans, and Azeez Ojulari did this last draft. Can't let him pass up at this one. That's an absolute stud pick right there. Going to be fitting in absolutely perfectly. Now, Nick Bolton could be a selection here for the Bills, but we're going to be going Shaun Wade. You don't let a potential slot corner like that go. He can play boundary if you want, but again, I got to do some more study on Tre'Davious White, see exactly where he plays. I think that Shaun Wade would be a great fit, though. If they want to keep /move Tre'Davious White to the outside as a boundary, Shaun Wade should be a top 10 pick if he's just a pure slot corner. He's the reason why Clemson was able to win that playoff game. Him being ejected for targeting, that is. Now, of course, we have the Saints here. This is usually where I do a pick. This is where I made my big mistake in the last one. I didn't like how the last draft went when I did a pick right here. I did a monster trade with the Eagles, and it wasn't right because the Eagles have a lot of issues in a bad cap situation. They don't have the ability to be taking shots like that. So I'm not going to be doing that on this one. We are going to be looking at potential options for, of course, the Saints to be able to add a linebacker to add to Quan Alexander. That's going to be pretty damn solid if you're going to be able to add him to that because Demario Davis is getting older as well. Haven't been able to study the contracts on this team yet, so I'm not fully well-versed. Again, we might be wanting to go quarterback here, but Sean Payton has a hard-on for your good old boy T. Hill, Taysom. So I don't think it's a realistic pick to take a quarterback in the first when you're so in love with one of your guys. So with that being said, it's going to hurt, but we're looking between Nick Bolton as well as Asante Samuel Jr. / Darian Kendrick. And I'm gonna be going Nick Bolton here because you know that there are going to be some corners down the line, but Nick Bolton is going to be a true run stuffer. And with a guy like Leonard Fournette in the division, when you have guys like Christian McCaffrey, I'm not a huge fan on Nick Bolton, right? I think that maybe Dylan Moses is a little bit better. Honestly, after watching that playoff game, I don't think so anymore. Nick Bolton looked lost the past 2 games, but man, he showed his potential. And if he's able to learn from Quan Alexander, that is a sell for me. Nick Bolton's going to be the guy here. You're going to be able to build a team before you bring in a quarterback. Honestly, you don't want to be reaching for a quarterback at the end of the first when you can get a guy like Nick Bolton who could potentially solidify your defense and just make it even better so that Taysom Hill can make some mistakes, and it's okay. Now, Steelers, I've been doing this forever. Liam Eichenberg just screams Steeler to me. We need offensive line like nobody's business. It doesn't matter who the running back is if they don't have a good line to run behind. And Ben ain't going to last. We all know that Big Ben gets injured all the time. He ain't going to last behind a shitty offensive line. Liam Eichenberg's going to be coming in because also Villanueva is on contract year. I think that it's time to let him go. All due respect to him. And Packers, where do we go with you? I love this pick. I made it last week. We're going Rondale Moore. Adding a true gadget weapon is just going to be so fun for this offense. And again, it's time to invest for Aaron Rodgers. But of course, Kansas City, ending on a boring note, doing the same ending as last time. Elijah Vera Tucker can play tackle. He can play guard. You need to protect that $500 million man back there. So let's rock that way. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully this video gets up in time, but I'll see you on the far side. Peace.